I had filed a case, the Kirkham v. Air France case. I filed a case on behalf of my client, and I sued the French government in the United States for things that happened in France, very similar to what happened in Cyprus, just to give you an analogy. They said then it's impossible to do. You can't sue the French government in the United States for acts. My client got injured in France. You can't sue them. Why don't you sue them in France? I sued them in the United States. And I think we spoke about this with Angela before. Not only did I make law, not only did I win, but I created law in the country regarding the exceptions to immunity on suing a foreign nation. That is pretty significant to some people, maybe not others, depends on who you ask. But to be able to not only win, but to create law at the same time that basically holds that you can, I created me, nation for acts that happen outside the borders of the United States. That's what the Kirkham case is about. Now, I believe that gives me some credibility as to what is going on in the United States and how to sue and who to sue. And I also want to point out another point, that the illegal regime has offices in the United States. The illegal regime sells titles. It's not Turkey that's selling the titles. It has a TRNC logo on the titles that they're selling to Brits and Germans. And they're also using HSBC, the HSBC banking system. Now, Ms. Argyrou, you failed to tell the listeners that my lawsuit also includes the HSBC as defendants, as co-conspirators with the illegal regime. You failed to mention that to the people and to Angelo, to understand that what we're suing is the illegal enterprise of people selling property and using the HSBC banking system. That's what this case is about.
Για να ακούσουμε την κυρία Αργυρού, τι έχει να μας πει, κυρία Αργυρού.
Το ότι είναι αγωγή και τους HSBC το γνωρίζουμε, είναι μέσα στα χαρτιά τους και έχουμε εδώ τα χαρτιά. Εκείνο που είχε πει ο κύριος Τsimpedes πιο μπροστά όσον αφορά την αγωγή που έκανε στην Air France. Well, Air France is an airline company of France. Suing Air France, you say you sue the French government just because Air France, just because the French government has majority shares in Air France. That means somebody who sues Cyprus Airways, where Cyprus government is also 65% shareholders. That means you sue the Cyprus government?
Yes. Anyone.
That's not a proper presentation of facts, Mr. Tsimpedes. You sued Air France.
He's won the case.
No.
Angela, he won the case. Good for him. But the fact is, you are confusing things. That's got nothing to do with half of Cyprus.
Mr. Tsimpedes, μιλάτε και δύο μαζί. You talk the both of you and we can understand what you're talking about. Mr. Argyrou, finish your subject where you started to say, and then Mr. Tsimpedes answer again.
Yes. Okay. As I said, Mr. Tsimpedes claims that he has knowledge and experience to sue governments. In that case, why didn't he sue Turkey? Secondly, suing Air France doesn't mean that you sue the French government just because the French government is majority shareholder of Air France. The same thing happens in Cyprus. If somebody has a disagreement with a ticket of a client or something and sues Cyprus Airways, does that mean that you sue the government of Cyprus, which is majority shareholder of the company?
In the United States, let me address the last question. The answer is yes. Any government that owns more than 50% of the shares of any company is exposed to liability. But let me address that. That's why it's very important. If I was just suing Air France, I wouldn't have to deal with the immunity of the French government. But because governments obtain shares in order to create immunity, that's a benefit to them. I was able to overcome the immunity, as difficult as it was, by showing the necessary nexus, the commercial acts of the Air France in the United States, just like the TRNC is in the United States. It's in Washington, D.C. But because Right now, the TRNC is not part of Turkey, which the Pallone bill advocates, which you advocate. We could sue them just like any other company. This is where you don't have the understanding of U.S. law, because if Air France